Hello class, so we are back and we are now playing some 25 and L. So I have two tables of 25 and L and I have two tables of 10 and L. Um, been kind of sitting here patiently waiting for some tables to pop up and been looking for some good tables and yeah, so now we got some tables up and running. And one thing I do want to note about 25 and L moving up from 10 and L, it's a big swing in stakes. It's 2.5 times the stakes. So um, in terms of when I moved up to from 10L to 25L previously, the monetary value just seemed like it's so much more. So I have my calculator for the bet sizing because it's been a while since I played. I've only played around 15,000 hands of 25L because I moved up to 25L literally like a month and a half before Bovada shut down, and they shut down and I withdrew my money. So we have pocket kings. Definitely going to be three betting that hand. So that's one thing we have to think about. We have to think about big blinds. Don't think about the actual monetary value of it. And we're going to ISO raise. So we're going to raise this to, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to make it 150. And I have to, I have to get used to the bet sizing on the stakes because they're a lot different. So I had to actually count in my head how many big blinds that was into a monetary amount. So this is going to be a fold against multiple opponents. And Queen King, easy way to win a hand without having to see a flop. So the tables that we're on, we'll see if they're any good or not, and then we'll evaluate in terms of getting on more tables or getting off tables. Now, in terms of how many videos I'm going to make at 25 and L, I don't know how many I'm going to make of me playing 25 and L. I decided just to start with playing 2 instead of playing 1 and then adding on gradually, just because I wanted to get into the action of moving up to 25 and L. And this is going to be a 3-bet. I'll just pot it versus a half stack. And if he wants to get in, and this is a situation where I don't mind getting in with ace king. If it's for 50 big blinds, I'm fine with it. But if we're talking about 100 big blinds in this a different scenario, the guy's playing a 50-17. I'm just going to bet half pot on this flop just because we have a draw to then a straight and we have 2 overs as well. But when he just jams the flop, I mean, he's probably got some like king queen. Maybe pocket tens. I don't know. I can't imagine him having aces or kings, especially because we block them. But king queen's a possibility, and the fish is just going to get the money in. So I'm going to time bank it and then fold. I don't want to look too weak and insta fold when I raise there on the flop. So I am going to time bank and just fold my hand, unfortunately. And it almost looks like I have pocket jacks when I'm making this move. So unfortunately, the fish takes down the pot. Okay, so when we are playing up to 25 and L, I think min raising is fine on the button. So you'll notice that my raise sizing decreases. And I'm going to play around. I don't know how effective this is going to be. If it's not that effective, I'm going to tweak it. I'll make it around 62 cents. And Jack 6, I think I'll open this on the button. I think it's fine since we're suited. And we're going to fold to the fish jamming. Six eight is a fold. This is a fold versus under the gun opening range. I may actually do a video of me playing one table 25 and L, one table 10 and L, one table of 5 and L. Or maybe some sort of mixture, so you can see the differences in all 3 different stakes side by side. I think that would actually be interesting for you to see in terms of seeing the difference between how the hands or how the different stakes play, one versus the other on the same night. So I'm actually do that instead of just doing the standard approach of doing 2 tables of 25 and L, then 3, then 4. I just want to give you a perspective of how different they are, and it actually might be a little more value for you just to see me playing all 3 stakes at once. Now, against these 2 opponents, I'm not going to take a stab at it. If I picked up a club on the turn, definitely I'll take a stab. If I picked up a 6, I'll definitely take a stab. But as is, not taking a stab with my Jack 6 off against 2 opponents that I really don't know anything about. And that's going to be fold with the 3-10 off. The queen 4, a fold. King 7. Is also going to be a fold. And ace 5 is definitely going to be a fold as well. So I don't believe I did a look and a review of the database. So let's actually pull the database in. Let's take a look at this. So let's pull the graph over in terms of how everything's going up to this point. We started up at 91 at this session. Now we're playing 25 and L, getting kind of we're gonna see some bigger fluctuations. So you should see some bigger fluctuations in my graph. But we're up around $90 in terms of overall for the Bankroll Challenge up to this point of starting to play some 25 and L. And so far we played 4,300 hands. Ace-6, this is a fold versus under the gun limper. Just not strong enough to ISO raise. Jack-10 under the gun, we can open. One thing I am going to say is that you really shouldn't look to over-adjust your game moving up from like 5 and L to 10 and L and 10 and L to whatever it is, wherever you play, to 25 and L or to 20 and L or 30 and L. Don't over-adjust. Just play the game that you played at the lower stake. And really, take note of how your opponents are playing and then start to adjust. Too many people think that moving up from one stake to the next is just so much harder. And it's just like, it's so much more difficult game, but really it isn't that much of a difficult game. I mean, look at this guy. He's playing a 44-0 game. So we're definitely going to ISO raise. And I hit the wrong button with that. Here we're going to raise to 30 cents. This is the fold. Even versus a min raise, I'm not going to defend. So I'm going to label player 4 as a fish. And he donks into me for a pot size bet. With the straight draw as well, as top pair, I'm not folding, so this is an easy call. Versus this small 3-bet, this is an easy call with the 7s. And then he pots it again on the turn. This is very interesting. I expect him to have 2-pair a lot. I expect him to have an open-ended straight draw. Am I willing to stack off against him with my king jack off when I don't improve on the turn? I don't know enough about him. I've only played 10 hands. It's a very difficult spot because if we think about his kings, we don't beat king 10, we don't beat king 9, weaker hands of kings. We don't beat king queen. We really don't beat that much, so I think we have to fold. Here this guy bets and he had king 9. So exactly. I mean, it just exactly shows me what I don't beat, and this is a fold. So that's unfortunate, but if we think about our rationale there, he's limping king 9 and he's donking into me pot size. So, we'll definitely take a note. Player 4. And that's a fold. That's a fold. So we definitely want to take a note of how he's playing. I'm going to adjust my sizing to 2.5x. And we'll take a look to see if there's any other fish. I mean, this guy looks to be like a nitty, weak passive fish. This guy looks to be, it's hard to tell yet. This guy looks to be a nit. This guy looks to be more regular stats. And on this table, this player 2 looks to be a fish. Player 9 is left. Player 4 looks to be, well, it's really hard to tell. I am going to mark him as a fish just because of his stats. And ace 9 off, I'm not going to defend. Player 5, hard to tell. Player 6, definitely a fish. So that's the thing, is that there's a ton of fish at these higher stakes. You just need to table select just like you would at the lower stakes. And again, I mean, I had this guy, and I wonder if he actually left any notes when he showed his hand. No, he didn't. Perfect type of opponent, right? We ISO raise him when he has a dominated king, and he just gets lucky. Oops, and didn't mean to do that. And this is a check. And just fold with the 3-8 offsuit. And this is going to be a fold as well. 5 deuce is a fold. Against two opponents, I don't know much about him, but I do have the backdoor flush draw. I do have two overs. I do have the gutter nut straight draw, so I think it's fine to continuation bet in here into two opponents. They're both shorter stacks, so they're both typically a fish. This guy is playing nitty. This person, I have no clue about them so far. But I think we have more than enough equity here in this situation for us to semi-bluff this flop. Again, we're going to ISO raise. I'm going to bet ISO raise a little larger because I think this guy's going to call. And I'm a bit worried when the nit calls. This is a fold. And this does get through 10 and L. Bad flop board texture for us with two overs. Can't see that. And this guy just, this guy's just like jamming every situation. We're just really not getting any equity. And we just need to be patient. There's really nothing I can do against him. I'm just being patient, trying to get a hand. I can't call that bet there. He's going to show like a 5 or an 8 or something. He's going to show a pair. So, the guy's just flopping pairs left and right. We just have to be patient, and our time will come. And we just also have to remember that fish, this is a part of the game, is that fish need to get lucky. If they don't get lucky, they're not going to continue to come back to the game. And this hand, we are done with this limped hand. We have no equity in it whatsoever. Ace 2, that's a fold. Jack 5, that's a fold. This is a fold. Just folds all around. Deuce 10, definitely a fold. And it's unfortunate the fish leaves. So, now I'm just a sad person because this table just went to crap. We got a nit here. We have a nit here. We have a reg here. This guy looks to be, this guy's probably the only fish left on the table, but he's not as bad as the last guy. So I'm looking for new tables to get onto. And keep an eye out right now for Ace 10 versus undergun opening range is a fold. And 8-3 is a fold as well on the button. Jack 4 is a fold. I'm actually going to try to find a new table right now. So not too happy that guy left. And let's try this table. Everybody's full stacked. We have a deep stacked opponent there. Maybe this is not an ideal table. So let me get off this table. I don't want the deep stack right to my left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to look for tables and make sure that's not the same table as it was. And let's sit on this table. We have a deep stacked all the way across from us. So we have 25 NL, and let's retile these the way they should be. So let's get 25 NL up over there, 2 10 NL tables over here, and we are good to go again. Eight 4 is a fold. 8-5 is a fold. So all the junk goes in the muck. So we're at 15 minutes. I think this is a perfect stopping point. Really no action going on. So I'm going to save this video and we'll be back with part 2 of our 25 NL session in 1 minute.